Number 4. Number 4 right here has a question that reads, Keith had $500 in his savings account at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least $200 in his account by the end of the summer. He withdraws $25 each week for food, clothes, and movie tickets. All right? So the question is identified in part B of the question that says, how many weeks can Keith withdraw money from his account? Justify your answer. Okay? And so the question is, how many weeks? Now what I encourage you to do once again is underline this in your word problem. I just don't have it printed out. So how many weeks is the question? Weeks is our unit of measure, so that helps us trim the fat of the problem. And the numbers that are associated with it are 500, 200, and 25. Okay? Now these are all dollars. So the units is fine. And those are the numbers that's going to make up our equation. So what you need to do is you need to identify a total, and you need to identify a rate of change. Which one's a total? 500 is the total he has now. So what is 200 then? Left, right? It's the amount left. Okay, and what is the 25? It's the rate of change. What identifies it as the rate of change for us? What terminology does it have in the problem? Each week. So that each identifies that it's constantly happening and changing each week. All right, so this is our each, which is our rate. Okay? So from there, the only thing we've got to decide, greater than or less than. Okay, so I'm going to have 500 total, okay, 25 per week, and then I have 200. Okay, so now I got to decide what to put. First of all, before we decide that sign of where we're going to put it, how do I combine 25 per week and $200 that I want left over? How do I combine those? How do you mean subtract?
Like decrease the amount of money.
You're taking it away from what?
The total.
The total, right? So if I'm taking it away from the total, don't I need this to be plus? Because think about if I move it over, that's where I'm subtracting it from 500, right? And so look at this. Look at it this way. That's our y-intercept, correct? Our y-intercept happens when the x value is what? What's the x value of the y-intercept? Every time? 0. And so our x is being represented by weeks right here. So without any weeks, any money taking out per week, I want to have $200 left. So that's my y-intercept. Okay? Now I got to decide.
Less than or equal to.
Okay, so less than or equal to like that?
No, like the alligator eating 500. I mean, yeah. No. The alligator eating.
The alligator eating 500.
It's
So,
gotta be less than 500.
We are going to say that the 500 cannot be exceeded. So it has to be the greater side. And since that I can have $500, it's also equal to.
Alligator eating 500.
Any questions on the equation? No. Or the inequality? All right, to solve the inequality, now we're going to find out and do exactly what you said a while ago as far as subtracting the 200. Here's where it's going to happen using my order of operations.
Then you'd see a 300, but then you would divide the 25W.
And I would change the sign, right?
No.
Well, I'm dividing. Why don't I change the
It's
sign?
not a negative.
Good, it's not negative. And so what's my value for 300 divided by 25?
12.
Ain't it?
12 weeks.
Good, 'cause that was my next question. I was going to say, was my answer going to be $12? It's in weeks, right? Now, just a side note before we plot it,
3 months.
if I was doing this in a coordinate form, here is my domain, here is my range, correct?
C.
What represents the domain variable? We don't have an X in there, do we? So what represents the domain variable? Good, I heard you over there. W, which is weeks, correct? What represents the output variable?
Well, no, that's wrong.
No, that's all right. What represents the output variable? Up here, 500. That's our output. What unit is it in?
Dollars.
Good. It's in dollars. So therefore, look at our slope. Our slope, which is the amount of change in Y, which is in dollars, over the amount of change in X. So our slope is money per week. Pretty interesting. All right, so the last part of the problem, number lining it. Okay? So 12 is going to go right there. We're going to use 0, and I'm going to use 15 because 13 is an unlucky number.
True.
Thank you.
I thought 7 was true.
Plug it back in my original. 500 is going to be greater than or equal to 200. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Coach Wallace.
There it is.
Oh, sorry.
There it is. Any questions?